What's going on, everybody? My name's Daniel. I operate LA in Common, community of probably the best people in LA. And today I'm talking with Maya, and she'll share a bit about herself.
Hi, Daniel. I'm Maya of Maya Does Media. I'm in SEO consulting. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization, and I essentially help my clients get to the first page of Google.
There's a lot to talk about here. I feel pretty giddy just knowing a lot of the context that we've shared. We actually go back quite a few years through different projects that we've done in the past. But I want the LA and Common audience to get to know you. So you've shared about the multiple businesses you're working on. What led to you building the communities and brands that you're currently building?
I think that it all starts with just my childhood and my interest in writing, and knowing that I always wanted to do something within the writing field. Um, I think that most people, when I say that I went to school for like English lit, would assume that I would just like be an English teacher. But
Mm,
there's so many things that you can do when you know how to write. It's just a really underrated skill
mm.
that it can take you so far, and there's so many careers you can go into with that. Um, I forgot the question.
What led to what led to you building your current businesses and
Okay,
communities?
getting back
Yeah.
into it. So, my love for writing and all the different ways that that shows up for me.
Mm,
Um, I started, I moved to Los Angeles in 2017, and in 2019, I started a food blog on Instagram. And from that food blog, I just got to meet a lot of different people through the internet. And one food blogger reached out to me because she needed help with her website. And I never like promoted this, but I guess she could just tell by like my captions and my content that I was a good writer.
mm.
And she asked me if I could help her with the SEO on her website. And that favor became a full-on job just from like word of mouth, and like that very first client just asking if she could spread the word, and then me helping other people.
Right. There's a lot there into how you got started, and I can't wait to get to like current day with everything that you're working on. Give us a kind of view into some of the risks you took along the way, and how did you manage and navigate those risks?
um I feel like, not that I'm not a risk taker, but that I never saw entrepreneurship in my uh as like a reality for me.
Yeah.
um, it's not something that I think that I would have chosen for myself. I'm definitely one of those like keep a 9 to 5 and have a side hustle just for
Mm,
like extra money. Um, so to have all of my eggs in this basket, I just never thought that that would be my thing. But I got laid off in 2022 after 8 years working for the same company, and it was really unexpected. But I had already started working within SEO 2 years before that. So I was able to just turn to my clients and say, hey, I have more availability. And
mm.
they took up my time. And in those first like 2 to 3 months of being laid off, I was making more money monthly than I had with my 9 to 5. So that was just like the push that I needed from the universe to know that, like, oh, I can actually do this. And also, it's time to get serious about it.
Yeah. We talked about kind of the risks and journey of getting to where you're at, but this is kind of a moment to like kind of hype you up a bit. Like, how did you know you were successful? Tell us kind of all the indicators of like how you know you're doing exactly what you should be doing.
Um, I will say that I'm definitely not where I want to be, but I do think that laid the groundwork to get there. And I think the very first signal for me that I was successful is the fact that I could live on my own in Los Angeles and sustain
Mm,
myself without a traditional job.
right.
So I think that's the baseline I come back to even when I'm having a hard day. It's like, look what you've been able to do
Yeah.
in this city that is one of the most expensive cities
Incredible. No, for real. Yeah.
in the world. And also, just like, aside from the finances, just challenging. Like, it can be like
Yeah.
super isolating out here, and like you really have to find your community. And I'm just like, every now and then, I'm just like amazed at what I've been able to accomplish on my own.
Yeah, for real. I mean, it's been a process, and it's been a relatively short time over the last couple of years of knowing each other, just seeing how you've like continued to level up, and how you've been growing your current like, this is the context I know, like you're just growing out different parts of your business, which is just such a natural extension of who you are. In terms of advice for people, that there's two people that kind of come to mind. The person that is working that 9 to 5 and is looking to make that leap into side hustle and then ultimately entrepreneurship, like what's your advice for that person? And then for anyone that is in that motion of entrepreneurship and just struggling in just general ways, like what's your advice to that person?
I think for that first person that you mentioned, I don't know if I'm the best advocate for that, because I'm always going to say to keep a job, or at least make sure that you have already figured out your plan for, like, like health insurance is big for me, and I had to figure that out. I didn't even bother with Cobra after I got laid off. It was just like, I'm not doing that. So like making sure that you have a plan, that you have savings, and I would say that you need to be doing it consistently for at least 2 years before you, before I would be letting go of the consistency of a traditional job. So just knowing that this isn't something, there's ebbs and flows, and I think within 2 years you can kind of see like the pattern of, like, what time of year you're most busy, when things start to slow down. Get your processes in order for, like, like if you're like onboarding clients, and at that point you should have come across some type of like conflict or issues, and just really know that you can handle it. Because entrepreneurship is not easy, and I definitely am not one of those people who would be pushing entrepreneurship on anyone. And I understand when people say that they want the stability of a traditional job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who was that second person?
Second person is someone who's already in entrepreneurship and struggling with some of the things that you shared, just the isolation, but even clients, like any struggles that first come to mind, like how would you share with them?
I think that being organized is really important, like having a structure for yourself. And if you're not a self-motivated person, then I don't recommend like having your own business or trying to be an entrepreneur. If you need that supervision and you need that push, maybe this isn't for you, because there is no one, like, I mean, I guess even when you have a regular job, like no one's forcing you to get up and like do that. But it's like, there's some days where I could just like lay in bed like all day, or I could just like skip a day, but knowing that the workload is going to be twice as much the day after that. Right. And I don't want to get lost. Stay organized. Make sure that you have a plan and that you've structured out your days, and also that you have set boundaries with your clients. Because at one point, I was working every day of the week. And sometimes I still struggle with that part of it. But it's more of like thinking about how I want my week to look, and making my Mondays a little easier. So it's like, yeah, sometimes like Sunday mornings, if I'm just in that mode, I may get up and do work for a client. But as far as they know, I'm not available. Right. So like when I establish that boundary immediately, it's like, okay, so like I work within like Monday through Friday. It's not like a typical 9 to 5, but I just tell them like Monday through Friday is when you can reach me. And I even give clients designated days. So like I may have one client that I only work with on Wednesdays, and then I might have another one that's on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So they always know when they're going to hear back from me, and they're not expecting me to like be on call. Yeah. So just really staying organized and having the discipline.
And I know we're coming to the end of our time here, but just even a cool observation is, and maybe this is a personal to me, but seeing you break out of the structure of a 9 to 5 into the unstructured life of an entrepreneur, and then coming back to say like, hey, there's some structure that's actually necessary to be successful. I feel like I meet a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs that just kind of are trying to get away from that 9 to 5, and then they think lack of structure is the way to go, and that works for some people, but ending up like creating those boundaries for yourself and structure for yourself is so important. But yeah, that's a thought that kind of came to mind is when you're sharing.
Yeah, and I do want to say, not necessarily just to plug LA in Common, but I think that when you are working by yourself, for yourself, and not within a team, that sometimes it's difficult to feel motivated or to be inspired, or like when you're dealing with certain frustrations that maybe family or friends wouldn't understand, or that you maybe just don't want to share with them. I
Yeah.
think that it's important to find like-minded people. So just like finding that collective somewhere,
Right.
whether it's online or just like locally, like out in the real world, and just having other people that you can talk to about what it is that you're going through.
Yeah. Truly make it feel like a team sport rather than a individual race. Super important. Well, that's the end of our time. Again, my name's Daniel. I operate LA in Common, the community of probably the best people in LA. And Maya, thanks for spending some time with us, and looking forward to our next chat.
Of course. Thank you.
Appreciate it.